Hi, folks. Meteorologist Don Paul here on my YouTube channel, Don Paul Weather Plus. And our weather story is comparatively uncomplicated to what's going on in the northern Gulf of Mexico. More on that in a moment. We have a lot of clouds around today, but we have less water vapor near the ground. In other words, it's less humid, as well as cooler temperatures in the low 70s this afternoon, which is below average, but very refreshing in my professional and humble opinions compared to yesterday and the day before. When Wednesday, if you miss it, we had our first 90-degree day of the season. We may get another one next week, but not for the next few days. These clouds will be thinning out tonight. Good sleeping weather tonight. Tomorrow, humidity will be coming up a little bit. If you're heading to a taste of Buffalo, even though tomorrow will be a little muggier than today, we won't be as muggy as yesterday, Thursday, or Wednesday. So a pretty good day for a taste of Buffalo. Brisk southwest wind, especially at those street intersections and Niagara Square, probably blowing some pamphlets around from all three of the TV stations booths that I used to occupy. Anyway, a good day. Sunday, less humidity, but also less of a breeze. Temperatures back to the upper 70s to near 80 on Sunday. Third consecutive gorgeous Sunday in a row with more sunshine and plenty of opportunity to damage your skin. High UV index this weekend, but especially on Sunday. And no real precipitation threat this weekend, except for this weak cold front, which is way back here. That may set off a shower or thunder shower early tomorrow evening, very late tomorrow, but with the brisk Lake Erie breeze stabilizing the atmosphere on the Niagara frontier, the best chance for passing thunder shower early tomorrow evening will be inland to the east and the southeast of Buffalo. The story for our weather is back to the heat next week. We head back to the low 80s on Monday with still pretty comfortable humidity, but by Tuesday, heat and humidity coming back. Projected high temperatures from Weather Service headquarters, upper 80s, can't rule out a 90. And Wednesday, more of the same, but more humidity in the air. The humidity building Tuesday night and Wednesday, and maybe a little bit of moisture from what is now a much more important system in the northern Gulf. Let's get to it. Tropical Storm Barry is strengthening. As of the last advisory, the top winds on this storm were up to 65 miles an hour. Now, the center of circulation, here's Louisiana, New Orleans is up here, is already close to the shoreline, so some of the circulation is over land. The Hurricane Center is forecasting some modest additional intensification before landfall by morning, which would bring it up to Category 1 strength. But the wind damage, and there will be some, is not as big a threat as the flood damage from two components. The storm surge with rising waters, especially east and north of the center. That's where the surge builds up the most. Much less of a storm surge threat west of the center. You can see why with the northerly offshore flow to the west of the storm. So that's pushing the waters back to the Gulf on this side, pulling them up on this side. Now, when I show you radar, you might think with the center here, we're going to see a mess of rain right now over southeast Louisiana, but we don't at this moment in time. There's a lot of convection associated with the center way back here, way over here in the eastern Gulf of Mexico up to near Apalachicola, some torrential downpours. There also will be the threat of the spotty tornadoes moving onshore in that southeast to east wind, especially in the next 24 hours. And let's go to the storm track forecast from the National Hurricane Center. And this is a map you can access on the internet as well. Just type in NHC in your search engine. Don't worry about the whole address. Don't just concentrate on the center line. This is the cone of uncertainty, which you'll notice increases further out in time. And what's left of what is currently a tropical storm near hurricane will be a weakening tropical depression as it heads up toward the Ohio Valley and maybe into Indiana. We might see some residual moisture, some showers and thunder showers by midweek next week from what was a tropical system. There's no indication at this time of excessive rain for the eastern Great Lakes from this, but that still could change. Not likely, though. There is a storm surge warning and a tropical storm warning up for the New Orleans metro area and Lake Pontchartrain. Now, Lake Pontchartrain waters were the waters that did the most damage in much more powerful Katrina when the levees broke down and were breached. Some of the waters on the Mississippi, because the Mississippi is already at near record levels. Normally by mid-July, the flooding waters of spring have really receded, but we have exceptionally high Mississippi levels already in place. And when you get water being forced back up with the storm surge, that could really cause some flooding on the west side of New Orleans too, as well as on the north and northeast side with the levees, which have been rebuilt. They're not in the same vulnerable conditions they were prior to Katrina, but they are not foolproof. And the rainfall amounts that are expected to come with this storm tonight and tomorrow are going to produce 4 to 8 inch rains in New Orleans and greater amounts over south central Louisiana, where more than a foot of rain could fall in some locations. These colors you see are the probabilities of tropical storm force winds. The legend is way down here. And the wind component for New Orleans that will do the most damage is the wind that produces the storm surge. That's imminent because the center is already close to land. This is going to be a lead network story over the weekend because the flood threat is major and will continue to be major through tomorrow. And then the strongest winds will be west of New Orleans, actually over the south central and southwest Louisiana shoreline. So that's the basic picture on still strengthening Barry. Top winds 65 miles an hour. Barometric pressure at the center has been falling. Massive intensification is extraordinarily unlikely due to the center's already close proximity to the land. So we have a fine weekend. Going to keep an eye on this, of course, for you, and you'll be able to hear more about the storm on your favorite channels on television, in which I am no longer engaged. So I don't care which channel you watch. You can watch any one of them. The local ones, I worked at all three. Hey, hey, hey. Even though I worked by far the longest at Channel 4, I guess if you have DirecTV, you can't watch that. There's a dig. And also the cable news and the Weather Channel. You can say what you want about the Weather Channel, sometimes seeming to hype things. When it comes to hurricanes, I must say they do an excellent job, and they're a great source for information, and they actually have some real tropical meteorology experts on staff. All right, where's my check, Weather Channel? Hey, have a great weekend. I may talk to you during the weekend, but enjoy our good weather around here this weekend. Ta-ta.